Chapter 5 Landforms of the Earth. In this chapter, we will study about the types of landforms like mountains, plateaus, plains, and how are they formed. What do you mean by landform? It is a natural feature of the Earth's surface. For example, mountains, plateaus, plains, they all are the landforms. What are the causes of formation of these landforms? The first cause is plate tectonics. Plate tectonics, I'll explain you here. You can see this is, for example, the surface of the earth. Now this surface of earth is broken into number of plates. Lithosphere is broken into number of plates. Lithosphere is solid, right? Now below this lithosphere we have asthenosphere or mantle, which is in semi-molten state. Now what happens? This is semi-molten, lithosphere is solid. So this solid floats over this semi-molten. So these plates keep on moving. Either they move towards each other or away from each other. For example, there are two plates, plate A and plate B. Now these two plates, in between these two plates, we have sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks are soft rocks. It may be a ocean bed or seabed. These two plates are moving towards each other. This type of movement is horizontal movement. Now what happens when they are moving towards each other? This sedimentary material or rocks, they get squeezed, compressed, and they start making folds. They start rising. This type of process is known as orogenic process, or it is known as mountain building process. Our Himalayas are formed like this only. Where Himalayas are at this moment, there was a sea known as Tethys Sea. So, because of the process of compression or orogeny, Himalayas are formed. Second is uplift and submergence. Now, due to upliftment of the land or submergence of the land, the landforms are formed. This is a vertical movement. This type of movement is known as a periogenic movement. A periogenic is continent building. In this, what happens on the surface if cracks develop or faults develop? Fault is a crack. If cracks develop, then either the land subside or it rises. And the landforms formed are block mountains or rift valleys. So these are diastrophic forces, orogenic and aperogenic forces. Now what are orogenic forces, which we have just discussed? These are mountain building, aperogenic continent building. Aperogenic forces are horizontal movement is there and aperogenic vertical movement is there. Orogenic, it is a process of folding of the crust, and aperogenic, it is the process of faulting. Third one is exogenic forces. Exo means external. Now these forces act on the surface of the earth, and these are therefore known as destructive forces. Now what are these destructive forces? These are weathering. Now what is weathering? Weathering is decomposition or disintegration of rocks. So the rocks break and the material is carried away and deposited somewhere else. So various landforms are formed because of exogenic forces also. First landform is mountains. What is a mountain? A very steep land rising to great heights above the land surrounding it is known as a mountain. Next, we have types of mountains. The first one is fold mountain. The fold mountains are caused by Earth's movement, which we have discussed under plate tectonics. Earth movement. Now, what is this earth movement? How is it caused? Earth movement is due to stress on the surface. Now, this stress is caused by weight of overlying rocks, movement in the mantle, or expansion or contraction of part of the earth. Due to this stress, rocks get compressed and form folds wherever surface is weak. Some examples of arc-shaped mountains. So it means the fold mountains are arc-shaped. They occur in chains. You can see in this map we have arc-shaped. You can see this arc-shaped. Himalayas are arc-shaped. Similarly, Atlas Mountains in Africa. See, Andes in South America. Rockies in North America. They all are arc-shaped. Now these mountains, they are snow covered because they are very high. They have glaciers. Perennial rivers originate from here. As they are very high and most extensive, they occur in ranges. There are parallel ranges like Himalayas. There are 3 ranges parallel to each other like Himadri, Himachal, Shivalik. What are the characteristics of fold mountains? The first characteristic is that you can see this upper part is upfold. Upfold is known as anticline or crest. So this is crest, and this lower part is downfold or syncline or trough. Number 2, fold mountains are formed of sedimentary rocks, where we have mostly soft rocks which can be easily folded. They are greater in length, but their width is comparatively less. Mostly found on the margins of the continents, with exception with the Himalayas. The rest all are on the continents. They are located in 2 directions. You can see Rockies, they are in north-south direction, Andes north-south direction, and Atlas, Alps, Himalayas, they are in east-west direction. Ural Mountains north-south direction. So they are located in 2 directions. They have many active volcanoes. They have parallel ranges, and there are intermountain plateaus also. What do you mean by intermountain plateaus? Inter means between. So the plateaus which are located between the mountains. For example, between Elbrus and Zagros mountains we have plateau of Iran. In between it is located. There are 2 types of fold mountains, young and old fold mountains. Young fold mountains, they have been formed later than the old fold mountains, and for old fold mountains, they have been formed long ago, much before the young fold mountains. The Himalayas, Andes, Alps, Rockies are examples, and Appalachians, Urals and Aravallis are examples of old fold mountains. Young fold mountains, they have steep slope, deep valleys and sharp pointed snow covered peaks. And old fold mountains are highly eroded by the agents of gradation. They have gentle slope, rounded tops and sculptured domes. Young fold mountains are much higher than the old fold mountains and have rough topography. And old fold mountains are lower than the young fold mountains. Young fold mountains, volcanic activities are common here, and they are evidences of volcanic activities still in them. Next type of mountain is residual mountain or relict mountain. Mountains which are reduced in height due to breaking or decomposition of rocks and has undergone erosion by agents like water, wind and snow. So the height of the mountains is reduced. They are known as residual mountains or relict mountains. Residual mountains are also called mountains of denudation. Why? Denudation is an erosive process of breaking and removing the rocks from the surface of the earth. These rocks or mountains are formed by weathering and erosion, so they are called mountains of denudation. Examples of residual mountains: Nilgiri Mountains and Rajmahal Hills in India. We can consider Deccan Plateau also under this, because Deccan Plateau is highly dissected by rivers. What are the characteristics of residual mountains? They have both gentle and steep slope. They are very old and they are low in height. Next type of mountain is block mountain. Block mountains are formed by the process of faulting. Faulting is crack. Now, crack occurs due to tensional force. Tension means when two plates are moving away from each other. If two parallel faults occur like this, you can see this is surface of the earth and this is fault number 1, this is fault number 2. They are parallel faults. What will happen in this case? This middle portion will subside, and you can see these sides we have raised parts. This is known as block mountain, or it is known as horst, H-O-R-S-T, horst. And this subsided part it turns into a valley. Valley is known as graben. For example, Rift Valley. What are the characteristics of residual mountains? Characteristics of block mountains. These block mountains, they have flat top. You can see the top is flat. One of the slope may be gentle, the other may be steep. Areas of block mountains are marked by rift valleys. Block mountains are surrounded by areas of comparatively low height. So they are the center of rainfall, because the surrounding areas are low in height and side of the mountain act as a windward side. So rainfall occur there. Few examples of block mountains: Vosges and Black Forest in Europe and Salt Range in Pakistan.